At this time, I ask that everybody please rise for the singing of our national anthem by Senior Grace McGrath.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Grace. That was beautiful. I now call to speak the senior class president, Miss Tiana Burke.
Thank you, Dr. Stevenson, for the introduction, and welcome to North Plainfield High School's very first virtual graduation, featuring the class of 2020. My name is Tiana Burke, and I will be your speaker for the next 10 minutes, maybe 7 if I talk fast enough. Although missing out on a traditional graduation is an unfortunate turn of events, I would like to be completely forthcoming and say that I am confident in delivering this speech, given the fact that I will not have to see hundreds of eyes on me or have to hear my family scream my name from across Crouch Field. Let's digress from my speaking abilities, or lack thereof, and move on with the actual speech. Let's talk about where most of our journeys began and the path that we took to be here today, elementary school. If you grew up in North Plainfield, then you either went to West End, East End, or Stony Brook. Depending on which one you entered, you either experienced the intense game of rollerball, the monkey dome on the playground, or playing in the brook after school. I went to West End Elementary School, so I feel obligated to confirm that West End is indeed the best end. I will say, however, after the songs we made about which school is better, all of us would ultimately end up in the same place. Our unity first began September of 2012 at Somerset Intermediate School, the first time the class of 2020 met under one roof. Aside from the obvious tensions, we all remember the times we collectively experienced. For example, how intense Foursquare was during recess, or the mutual agreement that pizza sticks on Fridays were amazing, not to mention the slushies too. We all remember how effective the DARE program was with Officer Fowler. We remember making new friends on Uvu and Kik and still talking to them to this day. Somerset is where most of us made friends from outside of our elementary school. Middle school shared some elements with Somerset, but was distinct in its own right. Most of us went through puberty here. Don't think I forgot about the voice cracks and growth spurts from you guys. Other than the coming of age changes we experienced, we struggled early on with the new building and the rules. I clearly remember our distress and panic after realizing we had no more pizza stick Fridays or recess. It was like we were in a limbo. We were too old for the activities we enjoyed in Somerset, but too young to be considered grown up. Middle school was where we frequently heard, "You guys are about to be high schoolers. You guys have it easy now." And Mr. Torres's most quoted line, that you are one step closer to graduation than you are to entering elementary school. Suddenly, high school felt like actually growing up. And while we wanted our freedom, we did not want the baggage that came along with it. At the beginning of high school, we started to fall apart as a class. We created separate groups, and each one did their own things. We individually chose whether or not to participate in events based on the approval or disapproval of our friends. During our first 2 years of high school, there was a sense of disunity in our actions and decisions as a class. We all remember the freshman year hallway decorations and the sophomore year 6-people color wars team. The first 2 years, we went on our own paths and focused on ourselves, resulting in the lack of class unity. However, by junior year, everything had changed. We had been looked down upon by the older and younger classes. We had been told that we had no school spirit or unity. It was then when all of us came together to show everyone what an amazing class we are. We worked hard, and we all know that we deserved the first place win junior year during Color Wars. That night, we showed all of the classes what unity is about and how to enjoy it with one another. From then on, we kept trying to build on that momentum, but we were often met with hardships. The first came when we had our Powder Puff game canceled, a game we had worked extremely hard to prepare for, and I remember us practicing and being so happy that we learned how to do the stiff arm along with other plays. The second came when we made the decision to cancel junior prom. By canceling junior prom, we planned and replaced it with a summer bash, which even though those said it wouldn't be, it became a success. Junior year was all about us being the underdog and coming out on top and better than ever. We wanted to show everyone that the class of 2020 was a class that could not be beaten, and we did. This year, I watched my classmates take charge and change things in our school. I watched the first ever senior sunrise, where some of us came to school early to watch the sunrise. That day, I saw people who would never come to school early, and it was a surprise. I watched the creation of the Hype Squad, showing up to sporting events and cheering our players on both at home and away games. I remember the storming of the field after we won the football senior night game, and everyone was so happy and excited. I remember the intensity of the senior wrestling night as the gym was filled with the Hype Squad's chants and cheers. I remember hallway decorating, where for a week I watched my classmates come up with a plan to meet after their clubs, practices, etc., to stay at the school until 8 p.m. in order to win first place. And we did win first place. No matter how much the other classes wanted to discredit our efforts, we always came on top. Nothing in our high school experience has been easy. Everything we wanted, we worked for. We fought against negativity from the other grades, both alumni and underclassmen, and proved them incredibly wrong. We've had alumni now tell us that they wish they had done what we've been doing when they were in high school. We've had underclassmen tell us that they are glad at what we've started at NP and how they will continue it when we're gone. We've beaten the pessimists inside of them. It wouldn't be our class if everything went perfectly the first time. It wouldn't be our class if we just followed the path that had already been traversed. I believe we experience times like this to show ourselves and others that we will not give up when times are hard. We will work for what we want, and if not, we will make our own path to take. The class of 2020 is different, and when we are together, we can make a change significantly greater than the classes before us. Now that we are graduating, I ask you do not change that drive and passion that has been growing all this time. I ask that you keep fighting against those who do not wish your success, and that you create something new to inspire others along the way. We may have gotten to where we were because of the unity as a class, but it would never have worked out if we were missing that fire that was inside of us. No matter where you go after this, remember that you can make a change. Just as we've changed NP, I want you all to change whatever environment you are putting yourselves into in this next chapter of our lives. These last couple of months may not have been what we expected at all, but we will make the most of it, just like all the other things we've gotten through. We have survived high school, and this is something to be proud of. Yes, we all either used each other, Quizlet, or Photomath to make it easier, but nonetheless, we've done it. While our class has definitely had our ups and downs, I wouldn't want to have graduated with any other class. We have gone through so much and still persevere in the end. I wish you all nothing but the best and advise you to work hard and follow your dreams. No one will be on top of us about things anymore. We are officially grown up. Before closing my speech, I'd like to share thanks. Thank you to all the teachers and staff in the school for teaching us and tolerating what a crazy group of kids we are. We know we did not make it easy for you. Thank you to all the families and friends watching. You have raised amazing people that I've grown up with, and I'm glad to call my friends. Thank you to my parents for always being a good example of hard work and perseverance and teaching me how to navigate about life. Thank you to my classmates for showing me what true friendship is like and how to be a better student, person, and friend. Thank you to Keenan and Bigden for being the best and most understanding advisors. We've done it, class of 2020. Congrats and go Canucks.
Thank you, Tiana, for those inspiring words. At this time, I call to speak the senior class valedictorian, Mr. Daniel Duncan.
Hello, my name is Daniel Duncan, and I'm honored to welcome parents and guardians, teachers, guests, and most importantly, North Plainfield High's class of 2020 to this year's virtual graduation. First, I'd like to ask you to give yourselves a round of applause. Congratulations, this is a huge accomplishment, and I hope you're proud of yourself. On Friday, March 13th of this year, Governor Murphy issued a state of emergency in New Jersey leading to the closures of schools all across the state. Initially, it was only thought to last for about 2 weeks. However, it certainly lasted much longer than that. I remember that fateful day vividly. Although we entered the building as normal, it was clear that there was a sense of panic in the air. There were so many unanswered questions about how this virus would affect our school year, but I think what really bothered us was the lack of control we had on the situation. Looking back on that day, I think it's normal for us to feel regret. Regret that we didn't get to participate in activities we look forward to since freshman year. Regret that we didn't say goodbye to friends and teachers. Regret that our time in high school is behind us. By the time we officially graduate, it will have been 101 days since our last day of school. Now that's a staggering statistic, and it speaks volumes to how drastically our world has changed. But don't forget how long and hard you've worked for this accomplishment. Assuming we're around 18, we've been on this planet for about 6,570 days. And of those days, 4,745 have been spent in the educational system. To put that in perspective, 72% of our lives have been spent in school. I, for one, still remember the meetings where we'd all sit together as a class and hear Mr. Torres tell us that we're closer to graduation than we were to middle school every assembly. And like many, I never believed just how fast it would come upon us. But the inevitability of that statement conditioned us early that there's some things in life that we can't control. Nevertheless, before we exit the building, I'd like to highlight some accomplishments we've had during our time at NPHS. In the arts, shout out to seniors who participated in the spring musical, the seniors who were slated to perform or display works of art in the Somerset County Teens Art Festival, our amazing chorus students who sang Amazing Valentines this year, and this year's members of the CJMEA Honors Symphonic Band. In athletics, shout out to the seniors who are committed student athletes and racked up awards like All Division, All Conference, All State, Multi-State Champion, County and State Level Scholar Athlete Awards, and countless college commitments. Our class has contributed to approximately 300 varsity victories during our time at NPHS. And shout out to the entire senior class for generating $122,000 in local scholarship money, and millions from colleges and universities across the country. Don't forget, before all the success, we were once considered to be a hopeless class. We were dysfunctional and we refused to communicate or participate with each other. And early on, we lost the respect of our underclassmen and upperclassmen peers. Yet instead of accepting our situation, we took control and poised ourselves to make history. This year, I got to see this go full circle. As a sophomore, I was a part of the 6-person Color Wars team and felt frustrated and hopeless with our class. But this year, I had the pleasure of experiencing the homecoming pink out where we all sat together, laughed, and cheered before rushing the field. For me, that transformation was moving and set the tone for our successful year. All of this teaches us a profound lesson that should be taken to heart. Through adversity rises opportunity. Soon, as we enter this new daunting world, we will experience changes socially and emotionally we've never endured before. But if you take anything from the speech, I'd like you to remember this phrase: I am in control of my life. This phrase, although short and simple, is powerful in that it establishes how we influence our own lives. When life gets tough, instead of getting down on yourself, I challenge you to persevere. As Pastor Charles Swindoll once said, life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react to it. You have the reins to your life, and truly, only you can control its direction. Again, congratulations to my classmates, and on behalf of my class, we would like to shout out our advisors, Ms. Keenan and Mr. Bigden. Thank you, and go be great.
Thank you, Mr. Duncan, for those amazing words. I now call to speak the winner of the senior essay competition, Ms. Rachel Soto.
Thank you, Dr. Stevenson. Many have said variations of, life isn't what happens to you, but rather how you respond to what happens to you. I think the class of 2020 is the embodiment of responding to what happens to us. I've always romanticized people as fruit trees. Stimulus response theory can be compared to this metaphor. However, we as fruit trees are not already decided. Rather, we choose what fruit to grow. This is our response. Now, society in all its glory has never really amounted to being any less judgmental or difficult to live in. Throughout all of its history, humans from all walks of life have faced adversity for the color of their skin, gender, sexuality, religion, and almost anything else that could set them apart. I'm sure everyone has experienced the feeling of hurt from outsiders who come to pick the fruits from our branches and taste them, realize they aren't a fan of what we are, and spit us out. These are the poorly colored truths about humanity, but please do not be discouraged. Our presentation to others does not need to be pretty and delicious for all to taste. The attempt to fulfill this would be dissatisfying and fruitless. This graduation and the diploma we will receive is the culmination of our past choices and future decisions of how we will continue developing to make the most nutritious and valuable impact possible. All fruit trees aside, for most of us, post-senior year isn't when we begin to make all the big decisions. Looking out towards my fellow classmates, I see the faces of young men and women who have already begun some of their greatest endeavors. I see the faces of those who have been teachers and even parental figures to their younger siblings. I see the faces of maturity in all of you who have likely had a time in your life where you felt the world was absolutely crumbling. But look at us. We are here and held together. I see you. While every member of this rapidly evolving society may not know our truth or struggles we choose to withhold, our story is no less valid. Our struggles, no less, make up the quality and character of who we all are. In reality, life has never started here. Our lives don't begin at this graduation, for they have already begun. Who are we, if not incredibly powerful for having made it to this point? This pandemic may have altered our thoughts for what our last year here was intended to be. And this will likely be the running joke of our story-told lives, how I didn't even get to finish my senior year. But who are we if not versatile? My youthful advice to myself and to everyone here is to continue transforming. Let's never let go of our past because we are always Canuck strong, but never be afraid to take on new titles and identities to come. We can't let ourselves stop moving if it's the last thing we do. We'll grow our branches and expand in every direction. It is our innate right as humans to choose the fruit we grow, to choose our impact, our response. No pressure.
Thank you, Ms. Soto, for those moving words. We'll now hear a rendition of That Lonesome Road, sung by the North Plainfield High School Concert Choir.
Walk down that lonesome road, all by yourself. Don't turn your head back over your shoulder, and only stop to rest yourself when the silver moon shining high above the trees. If I had stopped to listen once or twice, if I had closed my mouth and opened my if I had cooled my head and warmed my heart, I'd not be on this road tonight. Carry on, carry on, carry on. I'm sorry for yourself. It doesn't save you from your troubled mind. Walk down that lonesome road, all by yourself. Don't turn your head back over your shoulder, and only stop to rest yourself when the silver moon is shining high above the trees.
It is my pleasure to call to speak the leader of the North Plainfield School District, Dr. Aquino.
Members of the Board of Education, Borough Council, administrators, staff, parents, guests, and most especially our esteemed graduates of the class of 2020, good evening and welcome. It is an honor to be here to share in this momentous occasion. I am fortunate to be the superintendent in North Plainfield and have enjoyed being a part of your journey. I would like to express my thankfulness to the families for trusting us with the education of your children, to Dr. Stevenson for his leadership, and this great faculty for your mentoring. All of you have helped pave the road for these young people before us. I want to send my most sincere thank you to the class of 2020. It is an honor to speak with you, our graduates. I know this is not the graduation you wanted nor envisioned, but you are receiving your degree today, and that will forever be yours. We appreciate your flexibility in making the best of this situation and working with us each step of the way to determine the best way to honor you. We come together as a community to reflect upon and celebrate your successes and your journey getting here. You arrived at North Plainfield High School, impressionable young students, and you leave us today prepared to take life's next step. You are an exceptional group who have made contributions in the athletics, arts, academics, and this community. Right now, your family is reflecting upon your schooling and remembering holding your hand as you entered kindergarten, which may seem like just yesterday to them. To the families, you have walked and guided these graduates to the doors of the school and to the point they are at today. You will forever be a part of their lives, sharing wisdom, life experiences, and celebrating in their continued growth. Your role will always be the one that keeps our graduates centered, balanced, and nurtured. These are uncertain times, and we need people like you, our graduates in the class of 2020, to be looking to the future and understanding the opportunities before you. This has been a challenging time we have faced, and while we know we are not through it all, we stand here today as a community, as Canucks, to take a time out and celebrate you, our most resilient. The class that is graduating. Some have lost those most dearest to them in this pandemic, and class of 2020, carry those forever in your hearts. Tomorrow the future begins, one that will be shaped by you. You are about to enter the world as an adult, and you may have learned the most important lesson in your life over the past 3 months, how fragile life is. This experience may truly prepare you to nurture life and propel you to make a difference in this world. Albert Einstein said, "In the midst of every crisis lies great opportunity." There is no question we are in the midst of a global crisis. COVID-19 has not defeated you, and the opportunity to make an impact lies ahead for each of you. I want to share 2 stories with you today with themes to leave with. One is a story I have told time and time again, but it seems ever appropriate to share with you this evening. The theme is always be reflective and ask questions to learn and make decisions accordingly. The story: in the middle of a courtyard of a barracks was a small bench. Next to the small bench, a soldier stood guard. No one knew why the bench needed to be guarded. It was guarded around the clock every day, day and night, from one generation of officers to the next. The order was passed on, soldiers obeyed it. No one expressed any doubts or asked why. If that's how it was done, there had to be a reason. At some point, a general wanted to look at the original order. He had to rummage through files, and after poking around, found an answer. 31 years, 2 months, and 4 days ago, an officer had ordered a guard to be stationed beside a small bench, which had just been painted. So that is, do we guard that should be abandoned? Is there a tradition that continues merely because it's always been done that way? Are there habits or practices that you have picked up that need to be reevaluated? COVID-19 made us think about the benches we are guarding, and are they really important as we look through the rearview mirror? You have spent over 12 years since kindergarten in a traditional brick and mortar educational environment. In the last turn, just as you were about to round out your senior year, our nation and state closed down. For the first time in history, schools closed their doors and students were educated remotely. You rallied, advocated, and graduated. You taught us that we can adjust and reevaluate, that things can be different. Our planet has been given a chance to breathe, and it shows the world may have the ability to make adjustments to better impact our environment. Always be reflective, graduates. Ask questions. You will realize there are some benches, traditions, worth guarding, but there are definitely some that will need to be reevaluated. A second story I recently came upon on LinkedIn from a friend was really a lesson today that I felt it took me decades to learn, and it's my hope that I could pay it forward to you for your benefit. The lesson is know your value and surround yourself with people who know your value. A father said to his son, "Here is a watch that your grandfather gave me. It's almost 200 years old, but before I give it to you, go to the jewelry store downtown, tell them I want to sell it and see how much they offer you." The son did so, came back and said to his father they offered him $150 because it was so old. The father asked him to do the same at a local pawn shop. The son did, came back, said they offered $10 because it was so worn. As a final task, the father asked his son to go to the museum. The son went, came back, and said to his father, "The curator offered me $500,000 for this very rare piece to be included in their precious collection." The father said, "I wanted to let you know that the right place values you in the right way. Don't find yourself in the wrong place with the wrong people. Those who value you are those who appreciate you. Stay with those people." I think the story rings true in all facets as your life moves forward. And as much as it is critical that others see your value, always remember that a healthy relationship with yourself is just as critical. This pandemic has the potential to teach you to reevaluate your priorities regularly. For my generation, it took this pandemic, for many of us, to take this next needed step away from the hustle and bustle to remember the very things we value when we were growing up. You have the vision of seeing how sometimes it's okay to step away, to breathe, and to be home for dinner together. We have returned to a simpler life, an evening stroll, sitting around a dinner table. Class of 2020, this is something that you have experienced that will stay with you forever. Ask yourself what you're looking for, what will you see? Take control of what you look for in any situation. And as you round out your senior year, use this experience as something to continue to make you resilient, prepared, and grateful. We will need to rewrite some of life's script. Months ago, we thought this could not happen, and now it has expanded what can happen and our very important role in making things work. Kaplan Mowbray recently said several items at a college graduation that resonated with me. Take time to matter, turn worry into wonder, turn panic into passion, and most importantly, disrupt the world for good and use your power to make a difference in this world. Congratulations, class of 2020, and make us proud. We cannot wait to see all of the great things you will do in your future.
Good evening, Dr. Aquino, members of the Board of Education, faculty, staff, parents, friends, and members of the class of 2020. It is a great honor that I speak to the class of 2020 and give the 130 commencement address of North Plainfield High School. A commencement ceremony is a rite of passage and deserves our special consideration. Tonight we will convey upon the students a prize that these students have worked the past 4 years to obtain, their high school diploma. This was done in the midst of a worldwide pandemic that saw these students leave the classrooms of North Plainfield High School and begin taking classes in their living room, bedroom, wherever else they were able to watch their lessons and complete their work. This is an achievement that no other class in school's history has done, and I pray no future graduating class will have to endure. These last few months have seen this class realize their collective resolve, flexibility, and resilience. The class embodied the spirit of a poem written by D.H. Lawrence that I lean on during difficult times. This poem is entitled Self-Pity, and it goes, "I never saw a wild thing sorry for itself. A small bird will drop frozen dead from a bough without ever having felt sorry for itself." This class has not felt sorry for itself, though milestones were missed. Seasons ended abruptly. A musical wasn't performed, concerts were canceled, the choir didn't sing, a prom wasn't had, and our graduation ceremony is virtual. What this class did was reach out to one another and support. When non-essential workers were told to stay home, members of this class went to work as essential workers. When school went to remote learning, this class assisted their teachers and classmates. When people around them became sick with COVID-19, this class showed compassion and charity. When people were concerned to go shopping due to their health, members of this class went shopping for them. When opportunities arose to come onto campus to pick up their caps and gowns and diploma covers, this class showed up. This class energized a community by their positivity in face of a worldwide catastrophe. That's only been since March 13th. Prior to that date, the class of 2020 already had students that were accepted and will be attending the most prestigious colleges and universities in the United States. Collectively, you have earned millions of dollars in scholarships. Some of you have answered the call of service and will begin your military career soon after our ceremony. Your service will not only keep us safe, but will afford you the ability to continue your education via the GI Bill. As you have heard, you are a part of hundreds of victories over the years, earned championships, won awards, and proudly represented your community. The community is also thankful for your commitment to service. This class has contributed thousands of hours in the support of others. Your involvement in Heroes and Cool Kids, the NJROTC, the National Honor Society, Interact, Hope, Canuck Mentors, and Community Cleanup Day demonstrate this. This involvement in helping others has earned the school national awards. This class is a role model for America on how people from diverse backgrounds can demonstrate commitment, community, and love for one another. All of you are about to enter a world that no one has experienced before. The advice that would be given for entering college, military, or the workforce last year is no longer valid, since we are living in an unknown new world. The unknown brings fear and opportunities. Don't let fear keep you from seeing the opportunities. As Eleanor Roosevelt once said, you gain strength, courage, and confidence by every experience in which you really stop to look fear in the face. You are able to say to yourself, I lived through this horror. I can take the next thing that comes along. You are fiercely living through the horrors of COVID-19. Look your future fears in the face. Know that you can overcome the fear. See the chance behind the fear. Trust in your abilities and seize your opportunities. Be proud graduates of North Plainfield High School. Ms. Butler, it is my duty and distinct privilege to certify to you that the students seated before us have fulfilled all the requirements prescribed by the Board of Education of the Borough of North Plainfield and the New Jersey Department of Education and have earned the right to graduate from North Plainfield High School. I now ask the class of 2020 to please rise. Ms. Butler, I present the class of 2020.
Okay, class of 2020, congratulations. This is Bianca Butler, school board president, here to you today on behalf of the rest of the board and myself. Just here to leave you a very quick message to wish you congratulations, wish you well, give you a congratulations, encourage you to keep out hope that while we're in tough times right now, things can and they must get better. And you are coming out of high school at a time where the world is raw and the world is open, but the possibilities are much greater than they may have been 3 or 6 months ago. So continue to have hope for the impact that you can have, no matter what path that you choose going forward, that you have the opportunity to impact change in a way that this country and many of us have not seen for many, many years. So keep hope, keep encouraged, and we wish you the best. The second thing that I want to share in this brief message is, as I thought about the class of 2020 over the last couple of weeks, I kept thinking, what's the message that I want the class of 2020 to hear? And the word that kept coming to my mind was the word grit. And so my message to you is, one, you've demonstrated over the last couple of months that you have just that, right? Grit is defined as perseverance, as courage, sustained performance. You've demonstrated that, right? Thrown a curve in March around the pandemic and now all that's happening in the world right now. You continue to perform, to sustain everything that you've built and stay encouraged. So you've already demonstrated that grit. And so my word to you as you come out of high school is to continue to think about that. Hopefully the curves that you're tossed in the years to come won't be as challenging as what we're faced with right now. But when you do, you will have already demonstrated coming out of high school that you in fact have grit, that you have the ability to continue to persevere, to be strong, to face whatever challenges are thrown your way, remain encouraged and hopeful, and make an impact. So those are my 2 words for you as a class 2020, grit and hope. You have the grit, continue to have the hope, and we wish you all the best. Take care and congratulations.
Nancy Tariq Fatah Abdurrahman, Gianmarco J. Acevedo, Eliza A. Acosta, Jacob Martin Agui, Evelyn L. Aguirre Gavilanes, Raja Ahmed, Kyle Alejandro, Jaquan Dravier Allen, Eric Alvarez Sanchez, Selvin Amaya Diaz, Leslie D. Andaluz Alvarez, Kevin German Andrade, Audrey Arias Justo, James Emmanuel Atosfaria, Nakaya Osmond Jones, Alba Jocelyn Avalelos Romero, Jennifer Ayala Castro, Jasmine Abar, Hatis Agun, Kadir Youssef Bellinger Ali, Yamalith Baracos Montes, Carlos Baracos Ramos, Jose C. Bess, Gianna Marie Bovino, Kenneth Bradley, Alexa Bronco, Jasmine Irene Braxton, Ria Brumba, Stephen Brumba, Christian K. Bullock, Tiana Burke, Jalir Janelle Burns, Timian Cabell, Jeffrey Camacho Caba, Mixania A. Callejas Vasquez, Naji Kamir Campbell, Jalen Canada, Guadalupe Cantor Gasca, Gustavo Caraballo, Sarama Carrera Casasola, Juliet Cartagena Lopez, Joshua Castillo, Samantha Jennifer Castro, Chantel Celis, Vanessa Civavelos. Natalia Charles. Zoeb Chowdhury. Alejandro Benjamin Chavez. Ivana Sheris Romero. Tanaya Naiji Chin. Angel Alex Kolkas. Maurice L. Coley. Vanessa Colon. Jennifer Cooney. Arnold Daniel Cordero. Chelsea V. Cordero Escobar. Brian Jordani Cordova Cuca. Matthew Coslet. Kevin Cox Torillo. Theodore S. Crowther. Nestor S. Cruz Almeida. Cynthia Cruz Colque. Brianna Dawsey. Brittany De Horta Meza. Stuart Del Romero. Christopher Del Vecchio. Juan David Diaz. Genesis L. Diaz Caza. Nicholas Joseph Draben. Daniel Duncan. Luis Antonio Duran Aguilar. Jessica Elling. Connor James Fortunato. Juan Angel Franco Rivera. Brittany Fuentes Sainez. Alexa Gaetan. Alyssa Gaetan. Ariana Gaetan. Brianna A. Galarraza Revelo. Miguel Angel Garces. Jose Luis Garcia Amancha. Brian Garcia Lozano. Devin Deshawn Geiger. Jean Emmanuel Georges. Farina Nadi Gerges. Juan Jehaziel Gonzalez. Luis E. Gonzalez de la Rosa. Alan Jr. Gonzalez Garcia. Luis E. Gonzalez Tonato. Gloria E. Granados. Kimora D. Grant. Sebastian Elijah Grant. Deanna Brianne Green. Deontay Marvin Green. Brittany S. Guaman. Anthony Guerrero. Kelly Guevara. Jose Mauricio Guevara. Jasmine Gillian. Walter S. Gutierrez. Aiden Steve Guzman. Angelina Nicole Harrison. Omar Hassan. Troy James Henderson. Luigi Hernandez. Andrea Hernandez Chacon. Marta B. Hernandez Meja. Jose Orlando Hernandez Melendez. Angel Hernandez Garcia. Jasmine Hernandez Ponce. Amilcar Herrera Ortiz. Sherry Ibrahim Georgie. Cesar Eugenio Cuna Cruz. Franklin Oswald Jackson. Leanna Joanne Jara. Edgar D. Jara Hernandez. Quasan B. Jean Baptiste. Cindy Jimenez. Glinka Alejandra Jimenez Reyes. Kaimani Johnson. Gavin Jones Phillips. Naji Yamir Juma. Parjat Kaur. Danny Landaverde. Johan Rodney Lara Madrid. Joseph Ledesma. Jenny Beth Levy. Jonathan Alejandro Lopez. Darwin Antonio Lopez. Ashley Maribel Lozada. Jessica Lozada Villegas. Hashim Ali Malik. Joseph Manzano Santana. Carlos Alfredo Manzo Ramos. Michael Y. Matos. Uchenia C. Mbachu. Simon Deontay McKern. James McGovern. Grace McGrath. Brandon McNair. Isaiah Xavier Medina. Matthew Melendez. Sebastian Mendez. Jennifer Mendez. Trenton Mixon. Brandon Mons Membrano. Andrea Montenegro. Dennis Montes Meja. Rafael A. Montoya Boyden. Quinlan Moore. Emmanuel Morataya Garcia. Andres E. Castro. Andrea Munoz Lopez. Ashlyn Murillo. Veronica S. Naranjo Escalante. Mohammed Umar Nasir. Osvin Nivas Castro. Andy Steve Nunez Reyes. Brandon Olivares. Christine Graciela Olivares Gonzalez. Alan Fernando Olivio Paradas. Abner Ariel Ortiz. Rebecca Oyola. Camille Eliza Paraguano. Jaime E. Palma Gonzalez. Danielle Pareja. Zovieta Pelez. Nicholas John Pellegrino. Sophia Elizabeth Pellegrino. James Perez. Xavier Perez. Nayeli Perez Aguilar. Carla Lizette Perez Vaca. Anna Perez O'Hara. Mario J. Perez Perez. Karina Damaris Perez Ramos. Lenacy Phillips.
Stephanie Abigail Portillo Medina. Tayana M. Presley. Angel Quiquin Tuna. Fahad Rahil. Jacqueline E. Ramirez Valladares. Jean Carlos Ramirez Alvarado. Ludwin A. Ramirez Velasquez. Madeline Giselle Rampreet. Carla Cristina Ramos Bojorquez. Cassidy N. Grace Ondonesco. Amarielis Rios. William E. Rivera Roman. Kevin David Robles. Carlos Rodriguez. Carlos J. Rodriguez Gomez. Sarah Karina Rodriguez Dio. Maria Camila Rojas Calino. Alicia Romero. Allison Romero. Josue E. Rosado Rodriguez. Christopher Joseph Rosario. Andrew Royer. Wilmer Ruiz Hernandez. Kachani Russell. Paul Salazar. Sasa Lizette Salazar. Emily Salazar Solis. Sania Salem. Shandy Salinas. Danny Sanchez. Brian David Sanchez Urbina. Brian Santana. Delilah Marie Saquique. Kevin Soez Torres. Laura D. Sierra Carvajal. Pratik Singh. Daniel Solis. Irvin Sebastian Solis. Gisele Solis Ramos. Rachel Demi Soto. David Tamayo Sanchez. Jeremiah Thomas. William Thomas Swartz. Andreas Tixton. Carlos Tix Ventura. Chelsea Arlene Toza. Jimena Mariela Torres. Willard Torres Lee. Edgar Takoy Romero. Gabrielle M. Valderrama. Selma Valjevec. Evelyn A. Baladeras Lopez. Johan Belicio. Jennifer Maribel Vargas. Wilmer A. Belize Torres. Jennifer Michele Villasis Martinez. Leandro S. Villegas Aman. Tania Alana Ward. Faith Wilson. Brian Umanguano. Jonathan Zavaleta Gabriel.
I now ask for everybody to please rise as the North Plainfield Concert Choir sings our alma mater.
Hail, North Plainfield High, we praise thee, pledge devotion true. Fondest memories round thee linger, cheer our hearts anew. Sons and daughters, come before us, join with us and swell the chorus. Hail, North Plainfield alma mater, hail, North Plainfield High.
Congratulations, class of 2020, you did it. At this time, I want you to watch your fellow graduates as they flip their tassels and toss their caps. Congratulations.